All right, hello everyone. This is Crota. As some of you guys out there were reminded, today is patch day in the world of Hearthstone, and boy, is it a big patch. Now, a number of cards got changed, a number of decks got changed, and the meta is going to get really, really changed up. Now, first thing I gotta say is a lot of people aren't quite sure if Blizzard knows exactly what they're doing trying to balance a TCG. Now, there is always going to be very, very strong decks out there, the better decks, the decks that are the best cards based upon the combination of cards that you have. Right now, the cards seem to be aggro warlock, value control paladin, value rogue, delay mage, one turn kill warrior, control druid. Those were the archetype decks that are out there. But Blizzard wanted to step in, and Blizzard's reason for stepping in isn't necessarily a bad one, but people who have spent money and have invested a lot of time don't want people to change their collection. They don't want to, like, it's a really weird feeling where if I work very hard and I tune a deck, and then all of a sudden someone comes in every month and a half and says, okay, everything's completely changed, not because we're introducing new cards. No. We're actually changing the cards you have so your deck doesn't work any longer. Now, this is still technically beta. I know a lot of people have spent a fair amount of money on beta already, and that's one of the reasons why, hey, it's beta, we can change the cards as we need fit, it's all for the balance of the game, but hey, I also invested money as well. So those two sides to the coin, I'm still not quite sure how I feel about it. Now, on the positive side, the reason why Blizzard is changing the cards is they want interaction. The problem with some of the decks out there was it was a game of solitaire. What do you mean the game of solitaire? Well, it was a game of solitaire. It was almost like, okay, I'm going to play, I'm going to delay, I'm going to do very little interaction with you for a very long time until I can kill you in one turn. That was the one turn kill deck. Also, the mage deck with Pyroblast was also very similar in that category as well. It was, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to play my game until I have enough to kill you. And that's not a lot of fun. There's no one wants to be a punching bag in any game. Unless you're into that type of thing. If you are, I'm sorry. But really, a lot of people don't want to be a punching bag. I know there's this really bad glare coming in from over here. My apologies. Lighting in this room, well, it's just my room. I don't have a professional lighting. I don't have a studio. Yeah. Anyways, so that's where all that is. Now, I'm sure you guys are wondering, what are my thoughts on some of the changes? So let's go ahead and go down the list. Unleash the Hounds. Mana cost is now 2, down from 4. Thumbs up. The reason it costing 4 was already very, very situational. Yes, it costing down to 2, it may have to get nerfed back to 3, because it's really, really easy to all of a sudden go, you know what? All my other beasts get +1 attack. I have 4 minions that have 2 attack now, and you can and it works really well. It's one of those things where I'm going to have to watch this card. I've lost games to Unleash the Hounds when it costs 4, so I am very curious as to how it's going to work once Unleash the Hounds costs 2. It is probably going to be one of the best decks against aggro warlock, since aggro warlock generally likes to swarm the board already. If you can drop a buzzard with Unleash the Hounds on turn 4, or you can drop a dire wolf with Unleash the Hounds on turn 3, I think it's the one that gives all other beasts +1, you all of a sudden have a lot of killing power to essentially wipe the board. And Hunter already has, in a very rare situation, Hunter has a good hero power against Warlock, because Warlock all of a sudden has to become very careful in how they use their own hero power, otherwise they're going to lose that war of attrition and that war on life. Moving down the list, Pyroblast. Mana cost is now 10. This is perhaps one of the biggest change to Mage, period. Yes, I know Blizzard got changed. I know Cone of Cold got changed. I know Frost Nova got changed. But all of those were just kind of like, okay, we're going to slow you down a little. We're going to slow you down a little. Pyroblast changing from 8 to 10 means no longer will you be able to Pyroblast Fire Blast on a turn. So that magic number of 11 damage or even 13 damage with Pyroblast Frostbolt is no longer in play. This is a big change. Do I agree with it? Yes, I agree with it. Pyroblast, I love the Mage deck, but I agree with it in the terms of what Blizzard is trying to achieve. Blizzard is trying to achieve more interaction in the game. Blizzard doesn't want it to feel like, hey, it's a punching bag. Now, with all of that said, Blizzard has to become very, very careful. A little bit back to my pre-rant. Blizzard has to be a little bit careful. At high levels, where the best players are already playing, once you start playing a deck and you know how a deck works, you try to work around that card. Pyroblast was one of those cards that you worked around. Hey, it's like, hey, you know what? He worked very hard to get to 11 life, and he froze me as a druid. You know what? Even though I can't attack, I'm going to use my hero power so I have 1 additional armor. Things like that is what makes the difference between a very good player and a good player and a great player in Hearthstone. And I want to make sure that the game is not so mundane, and the game is not so based on interaction on what is immediately on the board, but you actually have to be able to play against the deck knowing what's in the deck as well. That is my concern. I actually had a game the other day where I was at 11, or I was at 9 life, and he set me up down to 9 life really, really well, and he froze me. I purposely played Bite. I purposely used my hero power, and even though I could not attack, and all of that was just to try to heal 5 life or get 5 extra life, 5 extra armor, so that the Pyroblast couldn't kill me, and I ended up winning that game. So yes, there is a point when you want to try to encourage interaction, but at the same time, you don't want to balance the game for the bottom of the barrel. If people who don't know how to play the game feel like they're a punching bag, then perhaps you should rebalance the ranked play so that the people who do feel like punching bags, eventually they find people of their own skill level. Okay, hopefully my rant aside there. Let's continue down the list. Blood Imp is now, I don't want to say worthless, but very close to worthless. Blood Imp is now a 0/1 that reads Stealth. At the end of your turn, give another random friendly minion +1 health. Essentially, it's a young priestess with stealth and no attack. Yeah, I think it's going to go the way to the dodo rather quickly. There was a very big problem with those decks in the past, with the Blood Imp being able to give 1 additional health. It almost felt like Blizzard didn't understand health on minions until well into the beta, sometime in, I would say, September, November of last year, where they all of a sudden, wait, health on minions makes a really big deal. Let's change Shattered Sun Cleric. Let's change this. Let's change this. Let's Argent Commander. Let's lower the health by 1. All of those changes were very important. And you just changed 1 health, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, Consecration works. Oh, this works. Oh, this works. And people started to get it. Now, at the same time, people understanding the game better, and then Blizzard saying, oh, we need to revamp this and rework this. This is still beta. We are beta testing the game for balance. I just wish... I don't know what I wish. You know what? Hats off to you, Blizzard. There's a lot of angry gamers out there, but you're doing this for the betterment of to make the game better, and I salute you. I just wish I just wish I wasn't running. I didn't have all of these deck archetypes. Yes, I have an aggro warlock, Murloc warlock. I have a 1-turn kill warrior. I have a delay mage. all the decks that were really, really out there have a value control rogue. Now, moving on, a Warsong Commander has been reworked and now reads, whenever you play a minion with 3 or less attack, give it charge. I need to know the wording and the timing on this. This is one of those things where, because there isn't an official rulebook, I'm not 100% sure how it works, but does this mean that a Bloodsail Raider with Battlecry, does it get charge, or does it get the attack and then Warsong Commander tries to give it charge? Because one turn kill decks for warriors, yes, the problem wasn't that the fact that there was a one turn kill deck with warrior. The problem was that there was so many one turn kill decks with warriors, with the Warsong Commander, with Electra, with Charge, with Molten Giants. You kind of just built and threw a deck together and was just like, okay, at any given time, I have 6 combos in this deck that can one turn kill my opponent. Maybe by turn 10, I will draw one of them. And that was the problem. So I'm not completely against one turn kill. I'm against the possibility of there being 20 one turn kill probabilities inside a deck. So Warsong Commander now reads, whenever you play a minion with 3 or less attack, give it charge. This is a very big change. I'm kind of glad to see it go, at the same time that I'm sad to see it go, because I did run a Warsong Commander, and I'm really, really curious now as to whether or not warriors are going to be viable. We're going to have to see where all the dust settles, but when the dust settles, we'll see what rises to the top, so on and so forth. Charge. The spell, not the keyword, has been reworked. Now costs 3 mana and give a friendly minion +2 attack and charge. Yes, it was part of the one turn kill deck as well. I don't know it costing 3 mana whether or not it's really worth it. Before, the card was free, so it was a free card that gave charge. Now you're paying 3 mana for +2 attack, and you look at the other 3 mana cards out there. You look at, what are the other 3 mana cards out there? The 2 mana cards, +2 and taunt, or +4 attack. There's +4 attack or +4 health and taunt. The druid cards. Yes, I know you can't make a 1-to-1 comparison, but it just felt like such a weird. It feels like charge went from a really good card to below average. But then again, now that so many cards are going to below average, it's kind of funny. All right, Abusive Sergeant now reads, give a minion +2 attack until end of turn. You may think, hey, that sounds exactly the same. No, Abusive Sergeant was give a friendly minion +2 attack until end of turn. Now Abusive Sergeant can give any minion +2 attack until end of turn. How does this affect anything? Well, if you decide to attack, if you decide to give, like, hey, I have Sylvanas on the field, I'm going to play Abusive Sergeant, give +2 attack so that what I'm attacking kills Sylvanas so I can steal something else. There's some weird combinations. BGH is another one of those as well, where you can give +2 attack to a Guardian or a Temple Enforcer and then kill it with a BGH. We'll see how that all works out. But more importantly, Dark Iron Dwarf's buff now only lasts until end of turn as well. So Abusive Sergeant and Dark Iron Dwarf, their abilities have become synonymous. Do I agree with the Dark Iron Dwarf's buff? Yes. Do I think it's going to change that much? I don't really think so, because a lot of the times, or in a lot of the ways that it was used, maybe 60% of the ways it was being used on a 1/1 or 2/1 minion to take out some really big guy. It was already being used as an Abusive Sergeant, and Dark Iron Dwarf's buff was such a game changer already. Essentially, Dark Iron Dwarf was a 4/4 that let you drop a 2/1 charge in play as well. and that's why it was that good when used correctly. Very, very useful. Dark Iron Dwarf still gonna be potent, just not as potent as before. But these two changes I'm okay with. Abusive Sergeant, not that big of a change. Dark Iron Dwarf, yes, it is a bigger change. You're not gonna be able to give an Ancient Mage +2 attack. Like, I'm thinking about like high health minions that are low drop, or a Demolisher +2 attack permanently. I don't think anyone was really doing that anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. Defender of Argus is now a 2/3, down from a 3/3. This is a major nerf bat. No question about it. If you think about 2/3 drops, think of just think of a 2/3 drop. A 2/3 drop is a 2 drop. Rivercroc, Sunforge or Sunfury Protector, the one that gives adjacent minions taunt. That's a 2 drop. Essentially, what you're trying to tell the Defender of Argus is now, hey, Defender of Argus, your ability is worth 2 mana, and in some situations, yes, and in some situations, no. I'm really curious as to how many people are going to be running Defender of Argus. The fact that he's a 2/3 instead of a 3/2 gives it some help, because Consecration isn't a wipe on it anymore, or isn't a wipe on it. I actually like the fact that it's a 2/3 instead of a 3/2, just because of it can't get backstabbed. There's so many things that, hey, deal two damage. So I like that play. Novice Engineer is now a 1/1, down from a 1/2. Oh wow. Novice Engineer was a card that was used in so many decks because of its value. Now, you may be wondering, like, hey, when was a Novice Engineer not winning fights, or winning fights to survive? The problem isn't that the Novice Engineer is now 1 less health. What difference is it going to make? Most minions attack for 2. Yes, but no. The main difference is going to be Rogue, Druid, and Mage. They are now all going to be able to use their hero ability to ping it down. Now, what does that essentially mean? It essentially means that Novice Engineer gains you nothing in those matchups, because, hey, I played 2 mana to draw a card, but I used the card. My opponent is going to spend 2 mana, and in the terms of the Mage and the terms of the Mage, Rogue, and Druid, Mage gains nothing. Rogue loses 1 attack and gets a knife on the next turn, and Druid gains nothing since it's an attack as well. So all of a sudden, the Novice Engineer's power essentially goes down to essentially is the value almost of a 1 drop. It's almost like a 1.5 drop now. So Novice Engineer very, very much got hit with the nerf bat. I'm curious as to if I'm gonna run it. I don't know how I feel about it right now, but it is gonna get killed much more often, and that does concern me. Sylvanas Windrunner mana cost is now up to 6. I kind of expected this to happen. There was I couldn't think of a single 5 drop that costs a single 5 drop that was a 5/5 that also had a very good ability. You look at Frost Elemental, it was a 6 for a 5/5 that froze a character. Pretty decent ability. You look at some of the other 6 drops that were 5/5 that had good, the abilities out there were just like, now there is a reason we're like, Sylvanas, not the perfect 5 drop any longer, but we'll see how all of that goes. Here are my thoughts. I know this was a long rant, much longer than I thought it would be, actually, but I hope, let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below somewhere, and yeah, let me know what you think. I will not be streaming today, but I hope to be able to get some content out there later. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.